I don't consider myself beautiful, and therefore I feel that if I thought the Miss America pageant were just a beauty pageant, that I wouldn't be able to take part in it. Oh, I was asked at an interview if I thought I was beautiful, and I said, no, I don't. And they said, well, then do you think that the judges and interviewers and people that meet you that tell you you're beautiful are hypocrites then? And just for myself, being able to take part in the Miss America pageant and be myself, I cannot accept the fact that I am beautiful. I really don't believe I am.
This is Cheryl Browne from Jamaica, New York. She is a student at Luther College in Decorah. One birthday, 3 new Oldsmobiles, and several county fairs ago, Cheryl Browne was being entertained by the Junior Chamber of Commerce in Davenport. And though she may not consider herself beautiful, that night in Davenport, someone did.
Their names are, the first runner-up is Kathy Lee Gossman, Miss Northeast Iowa. This Iowa 1970 is Cheryl A. Browne, Miss Decorah. Right here.
I used to always sit and watch the Miss America pageant from as long as I can remember. My mother and I would sit there on Saturday nights, and we'd watch it from the very beginning till the end. And we'd start at the beginning and do our own judging and decide who we thought would win. And we'd always pick the wrong person, but it was a lot of fun anyway. And it was always one of those things that you kind of sit and you watch and you wonder about, and you say, well, you know, I wonder how a girl manages to get to that point. But it's never anything that you ever considered, you know, even getting anywhere near. You know, it was just the type of thing that you sit and you watch on television, but that people don't really do, you know.
It seems that beauty pageants are like sunshine. There's always one happening somewhere. Every year, over 70,000 pretty girls sift through 3,500 local contests. Not only is there a Miss Somebody for almost every animal, vegetable, and mineral substance known to man, but every organization with more than a quorum coronates a sweet young thing to represent them. There is Miss Firefighter, Miss VFW, and Miss Black America. Until this year, the Miss America pageant in Atlantic City could have been called Miss White America. That's why Iowa's candidate, Cheryl Browne, will spend a lot of time being interviewed. She is the first black contestant in the pageant's 50-year history. And looking back over those years, it's come a long way, in more ways than one. It all began during that age, the 20s, and no one was worrying about a depression only 8 years away. In fact, no one worried about much of anything. And compared to some of the other nutty national diversions, a bathing beauty contest reflected a certain solemnity. Prohibition was in, and people were assaulting their postures on flagpoles, their feet in marathons, and their stomachs with near beer. This couple, perhaps anticipating today's transportation mess, tangoed from Santa Monica to Los Angeles. It was the age of gimmicks. To discover that initially the Miss America pageant was itself a gimmick is like finding out that John Wayne's real name is Marion Morrison. An Atlantic City newspaper writer and some local businessmen dreamed up the idea to entice Labor Day tourists to stay on the boardwalk for another week. The girls in the early pageants mirrored the times. Often lusty swingers, they were the toast of prohibition and represented cities instead of states. There were 8 contestants in the first pageant, and the winner was a 16-year-old blonde from Washington named Margaret Gorham. What won her the title is unclear, but one can ascertain what did not. Her bust line, which measured an inch less than Twiggy's. She was awarded a gold trophy, which she would sell for $50 during the Depression. Cheryl Browne's beauty contest career would have been somewhat limited in the 20s.
That's a pretty color. Yeah, pretty. 22. All right, you have this. How do you like the sleeves?
A former Miss America wrote a book titled How to Win a Beauty Contest. In it, she suggests, among other things, that would-be Miss America's practice by smiling at mailboxes and lampposts. Cheryl Browne has not had much time to grin at inanimate objects. She will have plenty to do impressing live judges. Mary Longley of Davenport is considered one of the top beauty pageant judges in the country.
Well, I've been associated with the Miss America program for the past going on 11 years. And in judging a young lady in both local and more in state competition, they are judged in 3 phases: in the evening gown, in the talent, and in the swimsuit competition. In evening gown competition, we take into consideration her personality interview and her presentation on stage in evening gown, if she is creating a picture of good taste. That she, of course, is not heavily made up, that she has a great deal of poise and walks gracefully. And of course, in swimsuit competition, we're looking for a young lady that has a nice shape. Maybe we could say beauty of face and beauty of form. And it is just a well-rounded American girl representing all of young American womanhood.
Liberated American womanhood may find this philosophy a little difficult to swallow. But there is one aspect of the Miss America pageant that the most ardent pageant detractor must understand, and it is pure Americana.
In excess of $500,000 is given annually on a local and state level, and of course the national finals, there's a $60,000 scholarship program involved. All of the 50 state queens participating in the Miss America pageant will each receive a $1,000 state scholarship and a $500 national scholarship for just participating, for just appearing at the Miss America pageant. And for appearances, if it is a commercial appearance, there is a fee involved, and she possibly, again, depending on the desire for the reigning queen, she could make anywhere from maybe $3,000 to $5,000 during her reign in personal appearances. Now, in some states, such as Miss California, which is a very large state, she is very busy, and Miss California possibly could make anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000. And our reigning Miss America will probably make around $150,000 or between that and $200,000 in personal appearances.
The first I heard about Cheryl was when Barbara and she were roommates last fall. And Barbara started writing home about Cheryl. And I didn't think anybody could be this great. I thought that she was overemphasizing this girl's talents and looks and everything. And then, so she came home with Barbara and spent their October break here with us, and we got to know her then. And I realized that everything that Barbara said about Cheryl was true, and we enjoyed her thoroughly. And I'd never seen her dance. When I saw her talent at the Miss Iowa pageant, I knew this girl was going to win. She also sings like a bird. I don't know whether she's told you anything about her educational background or not, but she's on the dean's list, carries 3 majors at college. And I think that I know her parents are very proud of her, and I'm proud to have her as my daughter's friend and my friend.
During the summer, Cheryl stayed with the Walter Steffens of Bettendorf. The close relationship with her roommate's family allowed her to relax as Miss Iowa and to avoid thinking about Miss America.
I have to kind of not think of what'll happen if I win the Miss America contest. It's much easier for me to go to the contest, be relaxed, be myself, and really enjoy the experience if I don't worry about it. And if I begin to think about what's going to happen, the things will have to be done, what'll be changed, what'll be added, it'll make the whole experience much more intense. And I myself will begin to worry about what goes on at the pageant. It'll begin to matter, definitely one way or the other, whether or not I win. And once that happens, then I can't enjoy the pageant, and then I can't be myself, because once I begin to take the pageant that seriously, then the pageant can begin to change me, and this I don't want to happen.
Cheryl's reluctance to think about Atlantic City is not shared by her hostess.
I would go at least top 5. If not, and really it wouldn't surprise me one bit if she won Miss America. It truly wouldn't. This girl she's amazing. I know nothing about ballet. I never, other than what I'd seen on TV, but to me, her muscle control is just utterly fantastic. She's on balance every minute. And I don't know whether this is, I don't know whether I'm saying the right things about ballet or not, but to me, this girl's talent is just something that I didn't think I'd ever see.
Oh, good. And then, yes, step up to the point then. Start your arms from down and are comfortable up however you like it, this way. Okay?
Yeah. I'll be able to see better when I do it with the music.
Right, I agree with that. Now you'll be left stage, in fact. This first step will take you, this first part here.
You know, I'm going to have to start a little more sensitive in left stage.
Cheryl Browne began dancing at the age of 3 and spent her high school years at the Manhattan School of Performing Arts. Miss America contestants are not always so well prepared for the talent competition. For instance, one year, Miss South Carolina dazzled the pageant audience by playing the Miss America theme at 3 different speeds, and won. Another victorious queen played Tea for Two on the piano, which was understandable since it was the only song she could play. In 1949, Miss Montana rode a horse on stage and almost cantered it into the orchestra pit. That incidentally ended animal routines at Atlantic City. But the most curious entry in the 25 years of talent competition occurred in 1948. Runner-up that year was movie actress Vera Miles, who frankly admitted that she had no talent at all, except getting married and having children. She wasn't kidding. She got married 3 times and had 4 children.
Don't hide your face. Come here.
Come here, Nathan and Matthew.
Come here.
Nathan. There's Vera.
I'll have to go around and talk
This
to them.
is the Annie Wittenmeyer Children's Home in Davenport. And for Cheryl Browne, it is a respite in a hectic schedule. Her ease with children stems from experience as a dance teacher and a children's ward worker at Bellevue Hospital in New York.
No, about twice a year. Do you boys have any questions?
Boys are vengeful.
No.
We talk to boys.
I have a question. How come you won't look at me?
They're scared. Embarrassed.
I feel that children are really interesting and rewarding to work with.
Bad if I was to hide from you.
They're really quite unique in that in a child you can find almost all of the characteristics that you'll find in any adult. And many times they make a lot more sense in a child than they do in an adult. You can learn an awful lot from a child about people in general and about yourself as well. They have an amazing way of bringing things out about a person that either you never knew or you were trying to hide for a long time.
Would you have to go to Miss Iowa?
Right here in Davenport. The pageant was right here.
You guys
Did
didn't
you
get
go to the
this
pageant?
year.
I know a lot of the girls were there. They came in a bus.
This is Mrs. Cecil Miller, who for the past 2 years has been the Miss Iowa chaperone at Atlantic City.
Well, we've been asked about our girl, whether or not they live in the state and whether this matters. Well, in Cheryl's particular case, she is not an Iowa girl. However, this stands to reason because most girls, or a great many girls, go out of state to the college of their choice, and the pageant is held while they're in school. Now, last year, it was either 22 or 26 girls in Atlantic City for the Miss America pageant did not live in the state that they represented. But this is the reason for it. The last year, we had a girl that had never been out of Iowa, Lois Coles. She was born on a farm in Alta, Iowa, and actually, until pageant time, I don't think she'd been any further away than just a few, maybe 100 miles or more.
You know, I just can't believe that it's been a whole year ago already that I was Miss Iowa. And it feels kind of funny now to be a has-been, actually. But better to be a has-been than never was. So I would just give Cheryl all the encouragement I could to go out there with a not so serious of attitude, really as kind of an off-the-cuff deal. Because you're going there to have a good time. And I think if I could go back again, I would do things probably just a little bit differently, not be so extremely emotional, but then I can say that because I've been there once. Many of my appearances were in the smaller communities this past year, and everywhere I went in these small communities, I found a certain bond within the people, the friendships and everything. They seemed like one large family.
Surely well, because they stopped at one guy and said, we're not going to let them over there. Where they got many more cars to bring them helmets and stuff over here. Hell, if they start here, that's going to be fun to walk back over here. They bring it all back over here.
To Iowa from the east, the thing that impressed me most about the state is the tranquility, the countryside, and the general openness of the people. I found that the people tend to accept you quite readily. I enjoy the countryside. a lot different than that of New York. And even though most of central and southern Iowa is quite flat, I like the flatness, but I think I like the area up around Decorah best. I think it would probably be because of the hills in that area that I enjoy it, because the towns in that area, you know, seem to be, they just like kind of sit in between the hills, and I like the scenery and the view.
Musketeer 1-3 Tango, hold position in the United Taxi by pull to the right.
Roger 1-3 Tango.
Yeah, 287, pass to the right of Musketeer.
Okay, you got centrally open now.
No, 287, affirmative.
135 at 15.
It's from my dance teacher in New York, and whenever anybody in our studio, you know, makes it, whenever they do their first show or, you know, are in a Broadway production, she gives them a feather duster. And the saying that goes with it is today a peacock, tomorrow a feather duster, and it's supposed to remind us not to get a big head.
Very
so I had to
good.
take it and put it in my dressing room over my mirror.
One thing we can't figure out that.
Why, it has a great feather.
And every time you look at it, think of the same, right?
Wear it well.
The feather duster.
Yeah. I think at first my parents felt that, you know, rather than people harping on the fact that I'm the first black to attend the Miss America pageant, that I should, you know, be treated as myself, just as any other candidate. But I think they've come to realize that it's going to be stressed, and perhaps that it should be stressed. It is a first. To an extent, it's of great importance to the pageant in general and for the black people as a whole. I hope that it'll give other black girls the incentive to enter things like this. I think that for quite some time, many of them have been quite reluctant to enter things of this sort, basically because they felt that they wouldn't be accepted as equals. Certainly many of them are still going to think, well, there was some discrimination, or that, you know, I just have the title now as a form of tokenism. But hopefully for many, it'll bring them to realize that they can aspire and accomplish the same things as anyone else. If it can do this, then I think it's accomplished something.
It will be pretty much the same this year. Bert Park's like a tuxedoed Tom Sawyer with 50 Becky Thatchers and 75 million TV viewers waiting for one of them to cry. But there is something new, and it was 50 years coming. Her name is Cheryl, and because she decided to go to school in Iowa, the grande dame of beauty pageants will never be the same again.